You've probably seen it, right? A goat just happily chewing on some thorny bush in a place where a cow would just give up and walk away. Goats are the undisputed champions of thriving in the absolute toughest spots on Earth. They're just so incredibly resilient, and for the longest time, we've wondered, how in the world do they do that? So that really gets us to the heart of it. What's the goat's big secret? How can it take what looks like totally inedible, low-quality plants and turn it into the energy it needs to live and grow and even produce milk? Well, the answer isn't something you can see. Nope, it's hidden away in a microscopic world deep inside. All right, let's get into it. The secret is the Caprine microbiome. Now, what is that? It's basically a bustling, super complex city of trillions of microorganisms. We're talking bacteria, fungi, archaea, and protozoa, all living and working together inside the goat's gut. It's not just the goat itself, it's this powerful alliance with its tiny partners that gives it a massive evolutionary edge. This microbiome isn't just sitting there. It's a living, breathing engine. It's what processes the nutrients, what helps manage the immune system, and it even dictates the goat's overall health and how productive it can be. It is, without a doubt, the goat's ultimate secret weapon. Now, let's zoom in on the command center of this whole operation, the rumen. You really need to think of it as this highly sophisticated, totally oxygen-free fermentation chamber. This is where all that tough, fibrous plant stuff the goat eats gets broken down. Honestly, it's less like a stomach and more like a high-tech biological factory that's running 24/7. So what's actually going on inside this incredible bioreactor? Let's pop the hood and take a closer look at the key players and their very specific jobs. We're about to take a tour inside the rumen engine. Okay, this little chart here, this is basically our roadmap. The work inside the rumen is divided up between four main teams: bacteria, archaea, protozoa, and fungi. Each one of these groups has a totally critical role to play, and they all have to work together in this finely tuned ecosystem to get the job done. All right, so let's properly meet the cast of characters. We're going to break down exactly what each of these microbial groups does. Think of it like we're meeting the different departments in our gut factory. First up, the bacteria. You gotta think of these guys as the heavy lifters of the rumen. They're the primary workforce, the ones on the factory floor doing the chemical breakdown of all the tough stuff: cellulose, starches, proteins. Microbes like Prevotella and Ruminococcus are the most abundant and, you could argue, the most important workers in the whole operation. Next, we've got the anaerobic fungi. I like to call these guys the demolition crew. See, before the bacteria can do their chemical work, something has to physically bust apart the tough, woody plant fibers. So these fungi use these powerful, root-like structures, they're called rhizoids, to just burrow right into the plant tissue, creating cracks and splits that open everything up for the rest of the crew. Then you have the protozoa. These are the managers, the regulators of the whole ecosystem. They play the super important role of making sure the system doesn't just go haywire. For instance, they eat starch granules, which stops the rumen from getting too acidic. They also prey on bacteria, which sounds bad, but it's actually a key part of recycling nitrogen, a vital nutrient, right back into the system. They keep everything in balance. And finally, the archaea. These guys are the sanitation and waste management experts. As all the other microbes are breaking down food, they produce a ton of hydrogen gas. Now, too much hydrogen would grind the whole factory to a halt. So archaea, like Methanobrevibacter, swoop in, they eat up all that excess hydrogen, and they turn it into methane as a byproduct. They keep the engine running clean and efficient. So we've seen how the whole system works when it's mature, but how does a goat even build this incredible microbial engine to begin with? It's not like they're born with it. Let's take a look at the microbiome's origin story. The development happens in three really clear stages. For the first 3 weeks of a goat kid's life, its gut gets colonized by microbes from its mom and the environment, microbes that can handle oxygen. But then, as the kid starts to nibble on solid food, the gut becomes anaerobic, oxygen-free, and a whole new wave of microbes like Bacteroides starts to take over. Finally, after about 2 months, the gut microbiome settles down into its powerful, mature, fiber-destroying state, ready to take on anything. Okay, we've gone way deep into the microscopic details, I get it. But now it's time to zoom out. Why does understanding this tiny little ecosystem actually matter in the real world? Well, the implications are, frankly, enormous. Remember the archaea, our little waste management team? Well, their byproduct, methane, doesn't come for free. That whole process represents a loss of anywhere from 2 to 12% of the goat's total energy intake. It's basically energy the goat ate but just can't use. It's vented away. And this is where the picture gets way bigger. That lost energy, the stuff that gets vented out as methane, well, methane is an incredibly potent greenhouse gas. So what's a small efficiency loss for one goat becomes a really significant environmental issue for the entire planet. That's a direct line from a single animal's gut to our global climate. So here's the bottom line. Understanding the goat's gut microbiome is about so much more than just goats. It's about harnessing their amazing digestive efficiency to create more sustainable agriculture. It's about learning from their resilience to stress and even toxins. And most critically, it's about finding ways to maybe tweak this microbial engine to cut down on methane emissions from all livestock. This quote from the research really just sums it all up perfectly. This isn't just a matter of scientific curiosity. This is a potential roadmap. By truly understanding these microbial pathways, we might gain the ability to manipulate them, to make our whole livestock system more efficient, more sustainable, and ultimately a whole lot better for the environment. And that leaves us with this one last kind of fascinating question. When you look at a goat chewing on a thorny branch, you're not just seeing a hardy animal. You're looking at a living blueprint for resilience and efficiency. So, could the secrets hidden away inside a goat's gut really help us build a more sustainable future? It's definitely a powerful thought to chew on.